Now back to Westminster, because as this place welcomes some 140 new members of Parliament today, many share their thoughts on social media on their journeys from their constituencies across the country. Selene Saxby said it was an early start for her as she set out from North Devon. Gagan Mahindra took the southwest Hertfordshire seat from Tory defector David Gauke and said today felt a bit like the first day at a new school. And the new member for Stoke-on-Trent North tweeted a picture of some of his new colleagues beginning their induction training in Westminster, saying the news still hadn't sunk in. Well, we're joined by someone who's good at syncing the news, Director of the Institute for Government, Bronwen Maddox. I meant that in the nicest possible way. You don't sync the news, but you analyse the news. So, Bronwen, your thoughts on the events of today, the kind of greeting of this Blue Army, as they're calling it?
It's a big day. It's a big day. And for a lot of them, it will be very new. I mean, being an MP is an extraordinary job, particularly for the first time. You're just suddenly parachuted into it. You might have been doing something completely different before. You have to find your way around the Palace at Westminster, rather literally, and then find out very quickly how to get things done, how to work with other colleagues, and work out how to start climbing up the ladder, if that's what your ambition is.
Well, let's take a look at them. Here they come, the self-styled Blue Army off the train in London, wearing, of course, their Get Brexit Done blue scarves. And Get Brexit Done is their key hashtag this morning.
Well, it might as well be. It's what seems to have won the election above all else for the Prime Minister and his party, and it is going to be the first thing that they attempt to do, and they should have pretty few obstacles, at least in the first stage of it, which is getting the withdrawal agreement bill through Parliament, and that's what those MPs are there to do. What happens then is very much more for debate, and we're of course going to have the Queen's speech very soon, which will begin to set out what the Prime Minister's wider plan is, and that's where I think a lot of the interest of this Parliament is going to be, how much of that agenda of pouring money, particularly into the North and Midlands, and really working for one Britain, as he's been saying, and trying to keep Scotland and Northern Ireland very much in the Union, how much of that is actually going to be seen on the ground. That's also what we'll be looking for.
And just before we finish for this part of the morning, what about Labour? Because we've heard Jenny Formby, and a moment ago we played a clip of Emily Thornberry, and you know, things are really heating up for the opposition.
They have to pick a leader. And at the moment, all you're hearing is the sound and fury of Labour tearing itself apart as the different factions blame each other for the loss and try and work out who might represent a victory in the future. But they've also got to work out what they say in Parliament. I mean, an opposition, even when the government has a big majority, still has got a role. It still can challenge things. It still has scrutiny on committees. It still can ask all kinds of questions. But the problem for Labour, it seems to me, is what exactly is it going to say on Brexit, on the Union, on some of the controversial things, where it either doesn't have a policy, has a split policy, or the Conservatives have taken what they want to say on public spending.
And I suppose that job still rests with Jeremy Corbyn, the parliamentary one.
For the moment, yes, but a lot of his colleagues are not very pleased about that.
Do you think there's any chance that they'll find a way of taking it away from him, the ones who are not pleased, and kind of advancing a leadership result before the end of March, which is their current estimated date?
I think it's difficult. I mean, I think you know, he said that he wants to stay while a process goes on, and the Labour Party is big on its process and actually quite hard to short-circuit that. So unless Jeremy Corbyn actually agrees that he doesn't want to go through this onslaught of which he's going to get in Parliament, not just from the Prime Minister but from some of his own colleagues, we may well be seeing the face of Jeremy Corbyn at the dispatch box for a bit to come.
Bronwen, thank you very much for that.